Okay, so we are going in the right direction. Now, what I want to do in this chapter is I want to start focusing over here on the left hand side. And I want to kind of make this like a little bit more special. So what I had in mind is that I really love this image over here. This is like one of my key images that I want to use just to get like the general vibe along with this one over here. And I quite like the structure that we have over here. So I want to create something like that. Of course without the stone, but we will improvise a little bit. So my idea was that, where are you? Sorry. My idea was that over here, wait, let me show you. That because there's like thickness, it's almost like a hallway that just ends in front of here. So it's just like a place where people can walk around and stuff like that. And I kind of wanted to use that as a storytelling along with these shapes over here. So let's move this over here. Let's go outside of my camera and let's get started. Now I think the first thing that's probably easiest is to define the roof. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate my roof piece and set it back to 1, 1, and 1. And I'm going to turn on my snap rotation. And let's figure this out. So, with my roof, this feels like a really tiny roof, to be honest. That's a bit annoying, that's a bit tricky. Let's have a look. So if I have a look at my concept art, because the roof is kind of like extending over the other one. So I'm just kind of like mostly doing guessing work over here. So if I say, let's see, extend over on this side. Let's go over here. Oh, that looks quite large. A little bit too large, actually. Let's do 1.5. Let's set my scaling to lock, which means that every time I say 1.5, it will just automatically become that. Yeah, I think 1.5 should be fine. So what we can do with this roof is that now that we know roughly the height of it, which is this, I can go ahead and I can start by duplicating it. And I'm going to set my snapping to 5 because we should be able to snap the roof together. At least a little bit. I'm then going to go ahead and add one of these pieces. And so rotate 90. Snap over here. So I'm going to basically first of all make the end, because that feels like the most logical thing for me. And if we were gonna go ahead and go for modular pieces, we probably want the ends to just be as simple as being able to rotate it once like this. Yeah, that should work. So okay, cool, we got those pieces. Now I just need to go ahead and also, just for good measure, even though we probably cannot even see it, rotate this one and place it over here. And there we go. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I have this piece. Now at this point I can already start deciding like how far out do I want to extend this area. And I probably want to just like extend it out not too far. So probably wherever we have this ending over here with our stone. So let's start with this and then of course we can later on edit it. So let me just duplicate this a bit more. And for now, I'll just leave it like this. Okay, awesome. So we are going to use over here these beams as like a connection point. And as I said before, I want to start pretty much like replicating the wood parts that we have over here. So I'm going to get started by, I can probably just use this one. So let's go ahead and just duplicate this. Let's also duplicate it inside of our modeling tools. Rotate it, and I'm going to, because of course this is where like the ending is, I'm going to probably place this beam next to it. So let me just turn off snapping and place it over here, and let's see. So yeah, first of all, let's make it like a little bit thinner. We don't want this to be like such a hugely thick beam. Okay. Yeah, that seems to work. And now in terms of like the length, I wouldn't want to go all the way to the side. I would want to maybe have like a little bit of space for people to kind of like walk. So maybe like stick with this thickness. So if we go roughly over here, that would feel a little bit more logical. So okay, cool. We have this one. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to build things up. So we have this. Then I want, and let's have a look over here again. I want to have like this in between area over here. And I might want to make then this one like a little bit smaller, just to add a bit of variation. So we have this one, and then the next time we have another one is like we need something to kind of like block the top. So let's have a look. This one I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit thinner. Like that. And this one, what if I steal, what if I steal one of these? Just to measure things and to place it. So I'm gonna steal one of these, so this one I'm going to go ahead and maybe like make a little bit thinner. Like this. And just move it like on the roof. So it's gonna be like one of those typical structures where the roof is kind of like resting on these pieces at the end. Then I would want to go ahead and probably like, say, place one here. And next would be having a beam. And I would want to have this beam. This point I'm just like looking around because I need to kind of like guess mostly. Of course we will later on like look much more closely at these type of pieces to make it more logical. But yeah, actually over here you can also kind of see it. So if I go ahead and just make this beam probably like thinner. Yeah, let's do that. Let's make the beam thinner and make sure to duplicate this piece over here. For now I'm just going to move it to the center, but you probably guessed that later on we will just mirror this. So we have this beam. And that one is like a little bit thinner, that's good. And then if we also just go ahead and move it over here. And another thing is that we would need to like have a corner. I can use this one over here. We need to have a corner to, of course, close everything off nicely. Yeah, that works. Let's move it up. Yeah, actually that's pretty good. So like the beam is pretty much in front of this, over here. And then it will have later on maybe like a few more segments. Yeah, I'm just gonna indicate that like this. So a few more segments, and then we have a beam here. And then we want to have a beam like every other place. So let's say another one over here, and then later on there will be also another one here. But let's first finish this off so that we can just duplicate everything at the same time. Now let's go ahead and select our roof pieces. And nicely move these a little bit forward. Yeah, to probably like this area. And this I'm just gonna kind of like stick in here. There we go. Yeah, that should work. Cool. Okay, and now we can just kind of like build things up. So if we have this, looks like that it would be beneficial to have one additional beam in like the center over here. And then for these ones, I'm just gonna place one in the center here and one in the center like over here. Then actually this one would be more logical if this one is also here. So I'm just trying to make this a bit more even. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got those. We can just go ahead and duplicate this one. Make it like a little bit thinner and mostly just like scale it. Oh, sorry. Now you want to go ahead and turn off the locked scaling. And I'm just going to use this over here. And now over here, as you can see, you can actually see through this. I also want to create it that I can see through it. And then what I will do is I will just go ahead and like place some of those solid walls that we created, these ones, behind it. So knowing that, first of all what I need to do is, so we have a beam there. I want to place another beam that's like a separation type thing. Probably over here. And I also want to create this separation probably over here. There we go, just to add like a little bit of additional details. And now it's just a matter of maybe like creating a quick cube that's like 10 by 10 by 10. Like this. Yeah, actually, yeah, that works. That's coincidentally quite a good ratio. I'm now going to go ahead and I'm going to select these corners over here, and I'm going to give them a nice little bevel to give it some additional detail. So something like that. And just push this up. I think that will work totally fine. If I just go ahead and let's see, I'm just gonna like not even bother really measuring it, just give it some open space. Actually, I want to give it a little bit less open space. Yeah, I think that will look cool. And then of course the occlusion and all of like the shadows on the interior will take care of it looking nice and dark, so that you cannot really see any details on the inside, because of course we don't want to spend too much time on that. But it will still look quite good. I'm going to go ahead and move these a little bit more. And I'm going to also go ahead and then duplicate them. Oh, and here you can see that, yeah, it's a bit less. Let's press hide, delete this one, Ctrl H to unhide. I am fine with it. I'm just thinking if I need to merge them together. It might be handy if I go in and merge everything but one. So here, let's merge these together. Just because I know that we need to duplicate this probably a bunch more times. It saves me some time selecting. Okay, awesome. So, oh, I already like that. That's already looking pretty cool. I'm going to now go... Let's go around the corner first. And then we can take it from there. So I guess it would make sense if we go around the corner to have like another piece sitting on, well, the corner. Over here. And I guess then this one, this one, this one. This one. This one, this one, this one. $90. Let's have a look. Yeah, that works. I'm just gonna deselect this piece so that I can more easily scale these over here. And I guess that now we probably want to go ahead and make this, let's see, it's up until there, so I don't know if I want to make it this white. That feels too white, to be honest. That is tricky, because I don't really like, if I just go ahead and like play around with the width, let's see, let's go into our camera angle. To be honest, I don't want to have it wider than this, because then I feel like it just becomes such a bulky building, and I want it to be like nice and subtle. So I can, yeah, here, see, this also feels better if I do it this way and have like a corner around it. So let's first place these in position, and then I'm just going to figure out what to do with the roof from there. So we have this one, and then we have like a, just gonna duplicate all of these and rotate it 90 degrees. Okay, let's try again. So, oh, sorry about that. And that feels, to be honest, it still feels too white to me. It just looks like too big of a building. I want it to be, and also, to be honest, it feels a little bit short, actually. Yeah, so too wide and too short. Although the short one I'm not really sure. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's make it one wide, like that. Let's try that. If I just move this roughly over here and have a look. Yes, that feels already a bit better. So I just really want to make sure that I define this one well. With all of it, like this is why we do the blockout, just because of the shapes. And you can see how vital it is to do this. Because we just really need to think about things and just see what we want to create. I'm just going to go ahead and now have a look over here. And I feel like that, like the walls are fine, but maybe we just want to like scale up over here the roof a little bit. How does that look? Yeah, that looks better. That looks already better. I'm going to now go ahead and see if I can make it kind of like fit with our thinner design. So the first one is that we can... Oh wait, too bad. Unfortunately, because they are different rotations, we cannot scale them as like one object over here. So let's see. Let's first of all extend them out a little bit more. I think we can live with that. Now, it's a bit tricky, so yeah, it's this one. This one is really annoying. Though I believe that... No, that wouldn't work over here. So I was just thinking about like maybe I can manipulate the pivot, but it does not really work. Let's try something else. Let's have a look. So, okay, so this is fine. That seems to work. Yeah, that seems to work fine. Only thing is that now, of course, these ones, we want to kind of like extend them out a little bit more. Over here. So let's instead try to grab this one and do like a duplicate mesh. And then add a mirror. And let's see if we can kind of like... Yeah, that might work a little bit better. If we just kind of like try to mirror it like this. And then for these pieces, we might be able to simply get away with scaling it all a little bit like this. And let's have another look, make sure it's fine. Yeah, see? I think we can get away with that. So let's go ahead and duplicate it. 180. Move it over here. There we go. How does that look? That feels like something is missing. And I'm just having a think about it. Like, what could exactly be missing around here? I feel like there's more space between... There's too much space, almost, between these two pieces over here. And I feel like the roof is also now a little bit like off-center, almost. Although that seems to be fine. Like, it doesn't feel off-center. So let's first of all try and... yeah, I can select these also. Just try and move this a little bit back. Over here. It's a short path for people to walk on. And now that I see this, I'm just really worried to make it too thick. So I'm just like having a look at my reference and everything like that. Also to make sure that it sort of works. I'm going to make it a little, just like a tiny bit thicker. Let's do this. Over here. This one I'm just going to cheat a bit by just scaling it up. And then this piece, we can go to pivot and set this to center. Yes, I think that looks better. That looks better. So let's do this. And now for these pieces, it's just a matter of like Yeah, extending them out a little bit, just so that they sort of fit. Okay, awesome. So we have these pieces. Now over here at this side, what I want to do is I do want to go ahead and create one of these, because I have a feeling that you should be able to see them even from like the back. Over here we of course have like a slight mismatch, but that is no problem at all when it comes to a block out. So let's do something like this over here. And now let's go ahead and steal this wall that we have here. And just kind of like place that just to fill up this space and make sure that you cannot look through it too much. I'm going to actually merge these ones together. And then I'm going to set my pivot point at the bottom, which makes it easier for me to just kind of like scale this up. And like I said, like you don't really need to see this. It's not something you will really see. It's just something to hide like the shape. And just in case you can sort of see like the shapes, at least you have something. See? So let's have another look. So we got that building. We got that roof that is looking pretty good. I do feel like the roof, I want to probably make it like a little bit higher still, because I feel like we lost that what we just did. There we go. And at this point I am also going to go ahead and go into my second viewport. And just set this to my camera, because it's really difficult for me now to keep switching back and forth for like small changes. So let's have a look. So we got this piece over here. I honestly feel like this one is actually extending out a little bit too much. And I'm not sure if we can just like kind of scale that in and then push it back. Yes, that actually works. I'm looking on my other screen, but yes, that works. So we have the construction of like the different wooden beams here. And then we have one beam that's kind of like running along here. If I now go ahead and duplicate this stuff. And I guess I also want to duplicate these two end pillars over here. I can now go ahead and just quickly move this along. Of course, it doesn't again have to be very precise, because you will not be able to see a lot of this. But what you can see is that when I duplicate, you can see that over here it will add some additional detail. So we are actually going to duplicate these a little bit more. Because later on my idea was that there's like a courtyard here. Like there's just like an extra area that we can work with here. And that's what we will also do to like block out those behind the windows. So that's looking pretty decent, I think. Maybe just because I want to work really neatly. And scale this down a little bit more. And have a look. Okay, I like that. Like it's right now like, oh god, didn't mean to do that. It's not too beefy, but it has like this nice close-up and it has like this nice height difference over here, which is looking pretty good. We also got those additional beams over here, which is fine. That works. And I'm just gonna have a look at my reference over here. We might want to add stuff like this later on, but for now, let's first focus on like the structural assets. So beam, flat support beam. Yeah, we got those, and then we have like another beam. And then over here in our real life version, there is like quite a bit of space in between here, but I guess that just depends on how we make our ceiling. Okay, so I'm now just going to run through. So we have our roof here, then this piece, then we have our doors. Our doors can open and close a little bit. We have top piece, we have this. Then we have like this rotation or this rounding, and this goes to the top. Okay, cool. We then switch over to this side where we have these details. There will be like some flags or something like that here. And this one switches over also to the other side. That's also good. We have our lamps over here, which are at a pretty decent scaling. We have our stairs over here. And then over here there will be like some plants and stuff like that. And then this one, what I probably want to do is I want to push this one in a little bit more. Just to add a little bit more symmetry. Something like that. And this one just like extends out, but you cannot see it. I think that is looking pretty good. Just double checking. Yeah, that is looking pretty good. Now, what I'm going to do is just to like quickly hide some of my errors. I'm going to grab, or I'm going to create like some of these weird things over here, like the lamps. Because what we can do is we can use those to kind of like hide this area over here. I can go ahead and I can do this by going into my modeling tool, and I want to grab probably like a sphere actually. Set the radius maybe to like 20. And then just accept. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. To like the radius of my lamp. And it's just gonna hang down. And my idea was to then go to like my poly edit and then simply move this one like this, because I just need to like indicate what it is. Like it doesn't have to be special at all. So we got this one, and I don't know, maybe let's go to the top. Let's do a nice little inset. Scale it a little bit more. Extrude this out. There we go. And maybe grab like a cylinder and turn off align to normal and set the radius to like 5 or something. Over here. Accept. Make it quite a bit thinner. Push it in here. I'm just making it like a little bit thicker. And now we can just go ahead and we can use this one. So here, see? That was quite a lucky accident. I just came up with that, but it does work where it kind of just like hides stuff. Because in a blockout, it's just hide stuff. It's always easier. The top one over here in our concept looks like a little bit bigger. So let's try and maybe move that one. And I'm just looking at my reference somewhere over here and maybe scale down. So let's see. See? So we can kind of like hide those problems. And we have that one, and what I want to do with that one is I probably want to go ahead and I want to push it back a bit. Over here. Okay, awesome. So I'm just doing one last check, because in the next chapter, if this is all looking good, I want to get started by placing all of our foliage, which is going to be, like that will change everything a lot. So I'm quite excited for that. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to probably going to grab like these pieces over here. One sec, I'm just is that everything? No, I'm still missing this end piece and I'm missing one of the main pieces. Okay, that should do the trick. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this over here. I'm gonna quickly deselect the roof and I want to just kind of like move this in pretty close into position. Actually, I'm not gonna scale it. Just something like this. And the only reason I'm going to do that is because, like, remember how I said like I want to create like a courtyard type thing? Oh, sorry. Well, actually that one I will just remove because it's not needed. I'm just basically going to place this behind here. And all it will do is it will block our view. Because one of the biggest mistakes I often see students and beginner artists make is that they just don't block the view. And you can actually see like the end of the map and it looks really, really ugly. So try to always block out or block your view. Which is what I'm doing here. And I'm just basically now creating like just a little bit of like something behind here like that. That should already be totally fine. And at this point, just to keep things nice and clean, I can also go for 500 by 500 by 10. And just place like a simple cube over here. Let's make grayscale. And all this cube will do is it will just like nicely create a floor just in case you can somehow see it. Here we go. Okay, awesome. So now, oh wait, this one I don't like that. I guess I can just, it's probably quicker if I just quickly select these additional pieces. Was that everything? Yes. And just move it forward instead of trying to like select the rest. So let's try this. There we go. Yeah, that feels like it would work. I'm gonna even like just do this. And I'm just gonna delete this side because I don't want to risk you being able to see that kind of stuff over there. So that's just something I'm going to scale down and stuff like that. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, see here, that looks really nice, like we cannot see through it. So we got pretty much our general structures done now. There still needs to be a little bit of polishing done. So now let's go ahead and start focusing more on like the terrain and on the foliage and stuff in our next chapter.